And this is going to be different than what you've had over here, and if you go to the other ones, I'm not going to be acting it out. My dad didn't like me acting and mocking him when I was younger, so I'm going to do it now. So I'm going to start out with Jim and Marita. Dad was born at the home of his parents, Sylvester and Irene Silbernagel in Jordan, on April 4th, 1935. Dad's siblings were Mary Jane, Larry, and Kathleen. Growing up in the Catholic faith was prominent in the household, attending Mass and being an altar boy. The local priest they'd have the local priest come to dinner every Wednesday night, and Grandpa maintained the Catholic cemetery, which I'm sure the kids helped. Grandpa and Grandma were one of the first to donate $1,000 to assist in establishing Regis High School. Dad graduated from St. Boniface in 1953, and this is his Letterman sweater. So Mom was born in Hubbard on August 22nd, 1938 to John and Sophia Jager. She was delivered by a midwife. Mom's siblings were Corrine, Leroy, Donovan, and Joan. Mom's upbringing also included a strong Catholic influence, being raised near the beautiful Mount Angel Church. Grandma Sophie was the cook at the local school and also cooked the first Mount Angel Oktoberfest dinner. Wow. Dad and Mom met at a Catholic Foresters event and married soon after on April 4th, 1959, which was also Dad's birthday. It was shared that it was the first weekend at the conclusion of Lent, so this date was chosen, and it also ensured that Dad never forgot his anniversary. Dad and Mom purchased a property that had 2 apartments. The one side had a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. The other side was Marita's beauty corner, which she was a self-employed beautician. Their new home was across from Ferris Lumber Company, where Dad enjoyed a 42-year career. Just down the driveway lived John and Laura Neal, who became very close friends and extended family to the young couple. Laura, who received her teaching degree from Willamette University in 1910, became the adopted grandma for all the kids. She was always patient, provided clear direction, and supported and led by example the strong work ethic that Dad and Mom wanted their children to have. At that time, Dad raised beef and had milk cows that he cared for after his days at the mill. March 25th, 1960, they welcomed their first child, Daniel Neal, or at least we think he was, because there was a mix-up with babies in the nursery at the hospital. We've accepted him. We've moved on. His middle name was in honor of their friends, the Neals. When John passed in 1960, Laura donated some of their property to Lynn County to become John Neal Memorial Park. While Danny was still in diapers, he welcomed his twin sisters, Karen Ann and Kelly Marie, on October 10, 1961. 3 children in diapers, and they were not the disposable kind. Once Mom had a short break from diaper duty, Martin Donovan arrived on February 12, 1965. It was time for the young family to relocate. With 4 kids, they had outgrown their 1-bedroom apartment. Jeez. They moved to a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house with some acreage between Lyons and Mill City. On December 26, 1966, Brian James was born. Mom was in labor all day Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after they chose to perform a C-section. Fortunately, this was the only uncertainty or discomfort this son ever caused. Quiet in the front, please. On December 29, 1970, Jude Eric was taken cesarean. He was 6 weeks premature and required to be in an incubator. Dad and Mom chose the name Jude because of their faith. Saint Jude is the patron saint of the impossible. Jude's middle name, Eric, was chosen to honor one of Mom's former employers. Dad and Mom had their family, 4 boys, 2 girls, and had outgrown their 2-bedroom home, and in 1972 they purchased a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, again 1 bath, 2 sisters, home on 8th Street in Lyons. With Dad raising animals, planting a garden, and working long hours at the mill, combined with Mom stretching every penny for groceries, making or repairing clothing, picking and canning produce, churning butter from cream, preparing homemade jams and pies, they provided everything their young family needed. Mom gave haircuts to the entire family, even gave the girls their beautiful perms. And many loyal customers continued to have their hair care needs provided in the utility room of their home. As the family gathered for meals, prayer was recited, and when finished, the kids were not allowed to leave the table without being excused by either Mom or Dad. Mom never had a dishwasher, but helped Karen and Kelly reach their full potential. There were no family vacations, but the family would cut wood, haul hay, shear sheep, work the livestock, and build fence. Mom always arrived with her trunk full of Oktoberfest sausage, homemade potato salad, chips for lunch. These were family times, but anyone that drove by or became aware of the event was always welcome to join. They were enjoyable moments at the time, but have become cherished memories. Dad and Mom provided guidance and structure to their kids at home, but when they attended school, they also were involved. In grade school, Mom would volunteer for field trips and make treats for the classes to enjoy. Dad was the president of the school board. When the kids attended Regis, they were involved with the Parent-Teacher Association, the school board, and the Athletic Association. It did not stop there. They attended all the school fundraisers such as the Green and Gold Auction, the Frolic, and others, and were active in the organization and the events themselves. Dad and Mom were most proud to support their children when they competed in athletics. Dad worked long hours and had chores after work, but attended many of the meets and games. Mom was at every event, sometimes attending basketball games at Mary Lynn for the younger boys, then leave for Regis so she could attend Karen's basketball game, followed by supporting Kelly cheering at the boys' basketball game that Danny was playing. It was not necessary to look in the stands or along the track. Mom was there. Mom's favorite sport was cross country. She would be at the starting line in several locations throughout the course and at the finish line to greet us. She covered more ground than the runners. Mom always hosted the cross-country team. The team would run through John Neal Memorial Park and return to our home for homemade maple bars. Their unwavering support continued for the grandkids for whatever activity they chose. Throughout raising their family, the Catholic faith was intertwined in our daily lives. Dad always said his greatest gift to his kids was his faith. Throughout our lives, the family attended Mass in Mill City, Jordan, Lyons, and Sublimity. The boys were all altar boys. Dad and Mom were involved in the parishes, with Mom providing flower arrangements for the altar and cleaned the church with the help of the kids, while Dad ensured the heat was on, rang the bell, took up collection, participated in nocturnal adoration, and was a member of the Knights of Columbus. Dad and Mom purchased the baptismal for St. Patrick's so their first great-granddaughter could be baptized in Lyons. Dad and Mom were involved in many community organizations as well. Dad was on the Lyons Water Board Budget Committee. They sponsored St. Jude's Jog-a-thon for several years to raise money for the hospital. Mom always volunteered for Special Olympics track meet. They supported the Regis auction and Father Taft's Home for Unwed Mothers. Dad was as generous with his kids' time as he was with his own. We mowed many of the lawns for the widowers in Lyons. Dad was also the canyon veterinarian. If anyone had a sick animal, needed a calf pulled, a calf or hog, vaccinated or castrated, they would call Dad. And he'd always lend a helping hand along with several small hands of his kids. We lived close to Ferris where Dad worked. If a log truck driver arrived at the mill late, he'd swing by our house to ask Dad to unload his truck so he could get another load first thing in the morning. Dad never said no. Dad was a longtime sports fan and followed the Oakland Raiders and Atlanta Braves. Dad stopped farming in 2011 at the age of 76, and this is when he started to enjoy watching every game in the College World Series and Little League World Series. They both enjoyed auctions, whether it was livestock, an estate sale, or benefit auction. Mom enjoyed tending to her flowers, providing the ultimate care and hand watering them daily. After the kids were raised, Mom returned to the workforce part-time. Mom enjoyed traveling. She went with her son Marty when he ran the Boston Marathon. She also visited Budapest and her favorite, Lourdes. They have 13 grandchildren and 5 great-grandchildren. Mom was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2012 and passed away in July of 2013. Dad's health declined without his lifetime partner. He passed away in July of 2016. Dad and Mom were joined by their youngest child, Jude, in May of 2023. Dad, Mom, and Jude are the only Silbernagels buried in this cemetery. When I was preparing this to talk here, I also found an article that I'd like to read just to close with. It says, when parents die, nothing is the same anymore. We can no longer be children. We will no longer feel carried away by their hugs, kisses, and words of encouragement. Even though you create your family, the face of your parents is ingrained in you for eternity. All people, even if we are adults, have this living child in us who wants to be protected all the time by our parents, turning to their unconditional love whenever necessary, but when they are gone, that option is no longer possible. If you are fortunate enough that your parents are still here, pick up the phone and or make a point to go see them, to hug them, to hold them, and to let them know how very dear they are to your heart. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
What's the left uppermost picture? The leftmost uppermost picture?
This is
the double wedding.
No.
Oh, it's not?
Grandpa John and Grandma Sophie Jager. When they
That's
got
Mom's parents, yeah.
married. Yeah, Mom's
Neat.
parents. And this is
Neat.
Grandpa Sil and Grandma Irene, my dad's parents.
Okay.
And then below each one you see the siblings, dad's siblings and then mom's siblings.
Yeah, there's
okay.
moms and dads who are there.
Neat. Why did he kind of stop what he was saying and look at him and